Before we dive in, I have a challenge for you. Who am I? You're looking at an AI avatar, but behind it is a real person with a story full of twists, trouble, and triumphs. I'll be sharing every detail, one piece at a time. But here's the twist. You have to figure out who I really am. I've hidden clues throughout my videos, little breadcrumbs leading to the truth. Some will be obvious, others will make you think twice. Will you be the one to crack the mystery, or will you just sit back and enjoy the ride? Either way, welcome to the beginning of my story. Let's see where curiosity takes you. It was a cold winter's night, or maybe a sunny afternoon. Honestly, I don't remember. But the day I was born, I like to think the world got a little more unpredictable. My family would probably agree. From the start, I was the curious type. The kind of kid who couldn't resist pressing every button I came across. And I mean every button. My parents joked that I was born with an instinct for it. But one of my earliest adventures wasn't about buttons at all. It was about wheels. When I was just 1 year old, I somehow managed to turn my little four-wheeled walker into a makeshift roller coaster. I took off down a flight of stairs, straight from the first floor to the main floor. Looking back, I can't even imagine what was going through my parents' minds as they watched me tumble down. I spent the night in the hospital, but luckily, I walked away with only a few bumps and a pretty wild story to my name. That fearless curiosity? Yeah, it stuck with me. By the time I was 4 or 5, I discovered my first real obsession: video games. My parents got me a Nintendo console, and that was it. I was hooked. Back then, I was the only one in my circle of friends who had one. That made my house the go-to spot for gaming. My friends would crowd into the living room, and we'd spend hours battling bosses, taking turns, and cheering each other on. For most of them, it was just a fun way to pass the time. But for me, it was more than that. I didn't just play the games, I studied them. I was fascinated by how they worked, what made them challenging, and how they seemed to pull you into another world. Even as a kid, I wasn't just thinking about playing video games. I was dreaming about making them. That Nintendo wasn't just a console to me, it was a spark. It opened up this whole new world of creativity and technology. I didn't know it at the time, but those moments in front of the screen with my friends would shape a big part of who I am today. Looking back, I can see it now. Even then, I wasn't afraid to explore, to try new things, to push boundaries. And that's where my story really begins.